In this video, we are going to rebuild this product comparison section we can see on the AG1 site without any code and in a couple of minutes. I've prepped the instant builder with the images that we're going to use in this build, and also the color styles and the font that AG1 uses. If we take a look at this product comparison section, we can see that it essentially consists of 4 different columns. So this one right here, and then the 3 product cards. The product cards then consist of 2 rows. So it's this main section we can see right here with the image, button and text, and then this small part on top. So let's start building this foundation first. Let's drag in a row, set the height to fill, change the color to the background color that AG1 uses. And now let's drag in 2 columns, also set the height to fill. Something we need to adjust is the spacing inside, because as you can see right here, there's a bit of spacing between the outside and then where the text elements or the product cards start. So let's do the same here by adding a top and bottom space of 80 and then the left and right inside spacing of 46. And then as we go back, we can see that this first part here on the left occupies about 25% of the page, and the other 75% is dedicated to the different product cards. So let's do the same here by going to this row on the left and then changing the width to relative, and then we can set a percentage, 25, and now it occupies 25% of the space that is available. The row on the right consists of 3 individual columns. So let's do that as well. Go to column and then insert 3 columns. Right here, change the, first of all, remove the background and then change the height also to fill. So we're already getting a little bit closer. Let's first focus on this column on the left. Let's insert a image, change the height to, I would say, or the width to 100 and then the height to 50. Then upload our image, the logo, change it to fit. There we go. And then insert some text below, paragraph element. What do they say here? Copy and paste. Let's remove this color as well. And there we go. Now let's focus on the product cards. There's not that much spacing. There's a nice border. There are 2 elements. I would say this is about a gap of 8 pixels. So let's do the same right here, changing the gap to 8. Changing the gap to, and then let's drag in 2 rows. The first row, let's set the height to a fixed height of 48 pixels, and then the other one can be set to fill like this. There is no gap in between, so let's also remove this gap right here. Then we can delete the color here, and as you can see, we're now already getting a little bit closer to the end result. The foundation is sort of there, and now we can really start with filling in the content. So in this first section, we can see that they have a few text elements. So let's drag in a row and then insert some text, change the height of the row to fit, but there's still a minimum height here of 200 pixels. So let's delete that one, change to fit. Yes, here we go. There are 1, 2, 3 text elements. So let's also add it, duplicate it. And as you can see, if we duplicate it, it adds it to the right. So if we look then at the settings of this row, the direction is still set to horizontal. If we change it to vertical, it will be placed underneath each other. Now we can create 3 text elements. Then we have an image, a button, and again 3 text elements. So let's insert a image. Here we go. Let's duplicate this and then underneath, boom, boom. Here we go. The spacing in between is still a little bit big. The gap is set to 32. Let's change it to 8. There we go. And now let's upload the image that we are gonna use. Not here, right here. First product. We're missing the button still, so let's do that one as well. Here we go. Change the width of the button to fill, and we're almost there. Let's add a border. I think the border has a width of 2. The color, we have inner brand styles, outline and text color, and it also has a radius of around 8. This already starting to look really good. Now there is some spacing within this card, as you can see, so let's add that as well. I would say it's about 10 to the top and bottom, 10 to the left and right. This is starting to look really good. Change the color of the button. And what else is there left to do? We need to add a icon here to the left of the text elements. So let's drag a icon element into this row. This row is again also set to vertical, but this time we need to change to horizontal, so it's next to each other. And then drag this one to the left, change the height to 20 by 20. The gap is still large, 32, change it to 8. And then we need to change the icon to a check mark. Let's see if we have it. Yes, we have it. And then the color can be set to the text color, the same for this text right here. Let's duplicate this one. Here we go. And now let's insert some of the text. Now let's take a look at the original site, and as you can see, it's starting to look pretty good already. Change the color of this row to white, and here we go. The easiest way to now continue with this build is to duplicate this row. So let's do that. Then delete this row. And now we can start to customize this second product card. Change the fill to the border color. Change the radius on the top to 8 and 8. Then we need to remove the radius we have added to the card. Let's move the top left and top right. We need to insert some text right here. So let's do that by dragging a text element within this row. Change the distribution to center, align from the middle. What does the text say? Most popular, always important, color white. Then the background of this second product card is green. Here we go. We have a bunch more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's duplicate 3, 4. There we go. Insert the text. All right. What else is left to do? We have another text element within here. So let's add that within this particular row. duplicate, change the direction to horizontal, move this text element to the left. It goes from 107 to 87, so let's add that price tag here. Then change the gap to, let's say again, 8. Then this color and this text needs to have an accent, and the color is slightly gray like this. And I think, yeah, this looks pretty good already. One thing I see I forgot is changing the radius of the buttons. It's now at 8. Let's add it 99 to make it nice and round. Same applies to this button, 99. All right, we are almost there. Let's duplicate this product card and change the background to white, and then change some of the content. There we go. And I would say we're now 90% done. What's left to do is adding some of the details when it comes to spacing within the individual product cards, of course responsiveness, and then inserting the right fonts. So let's take a look at the spacing first. I would say the spacing looks pretty good already. The only thing I don't really like is there's a bit more space between this sort of header text and then the individual points underneath. So let's also do that by adding a individual inside spacing to this text element underneath. Let's add 8. Let's also do that for the other product cards. 8. And then also for this one, 8. And I would say this is starting to look really good. So now let's take a look at responsiveness, because this can always be a bit challenging. Luckily with Instant it is fairly easy to do. So let's take a look. This is the desktop view. Then we can go to the laptop view, which is starting to look weird. I think the one thing we need to do, which also happens on the AG1 side, is this layer needs to be vertical, so it's underneath each other, and then the width of this text or of this section set to 25, but I think we can put in 75, and now it's already starting to look really nice. Then let's go to the tablet view. I think this still looks good. It's also the way it looks on the AG1 side. The only thing we should change is change the width to 100%, and then on the mobile this is starting to look weird. So now we go into this section and then change the direction to vertical, so it's underneath each card. And I think this looks really good, and it's nice and responsive. One thing left to do is add a bit more spacing underneath the last checkpoint and then the border or the outline of the product card. So let's go into this text element and then change the spacing on the bottom to 40. I think this looks good, and do the same thing here. Let's see, 40. And I think it's starting to look really nice this way. Then if we are on mobile, we should actually delete the spacing on the last checkpoint, because on mobile this actually looks kind of weird. We can easily do that, going to the same text element, then deleting the spacing. What happens then is inside gets a nice blue check mark indicating that we have changed something on the desktop viewport. We can do the same thing right here for this text element, delete, and then it becomes blue. well. Of course, there are details that we can still add, like shadow, font sizes, add a bit more spacing inside, or change the gap a little bit here and there. But I would say for 99% we are done, and it really looks very, very nice. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.